And if you will try to look at the cybercrime, no, it is the offense. Cybercrime is defined as the offense against confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data in systems. So first violation is the illegal access. Access to the whole or any part of the computer system without rights. So by take note, by accessing, by using the mobile phone or a computer or a laptop of someone without permission is already an illegal access. You could be held for illegal access for that. Number one, illegal interception. Interception made by technical means without right. When we do pass our data, which is very, very common at this point of time, by the using the internet, by intercepting those data, will now be a crime of illegal interception. Also, data interference, no, intention or reckless, even like reckless alteration, damaging deletion of computer, because not just all breaches are focusing on the stealing of data. They just want to they just want to disrupt your operations, because by disrupting your operations could create a lot of financial implications. Then that is also part of already the data inference. Sometimes we may say it is not intentional. So even not intentional, as long as it could cause a lot of damage or probably disruption of the operations, could cost you millions. Even organizations in the US, a 1 hour of disruption inside their system or the functionality of their system have lost them a lot of millions of dollars, and that is just data interference. And whom do you think will be responsible for those things? Of course, it's the competitors. By disrupting their operations, it would mean millions, and of course it will mean millions of sales in their organization also. So not just stealing of data are called cyber crimes. Then data interference, we have system interference, intentional alteration or reckless interference of their system or their computer network. So a while ago we talked about data breaching their data. This time we talk about interference, miss the hardware itself. Then the misuse of the device. Use, production, sale, procurement, importation, distribution without the rights. So patenting here is very important, the utility models. That's why misuse of the devices is also part of the cybercrime. And then also cyber squatting, acquisition of a domain name over the internet in bad faith to profit, mislead. So this is where most datas are stolen. Datas are being stolen to take advantage of in terms of financial matters or in terms of financial advantage. So most of these cyber crimes in cyber squatting leads to financial implications. So unless you have other purpose than that, but this is the most common that is being filed at this point of time. Then, offense related to the use of computers. Number one is forgery. Forgery. Input, alteration, or deletion of computer data. Some other some other people are doing this to disrupt operations. So forgery itself, alteration, deletion, and all those things already part of being forgery matters. Then we have the fraud, unauthorized input, alteration, or deletion of computer datas. So sometimes when an employee leaves an organizations, they try to delete all the things or probably would try to send all the data that are crucial or confidential. That is part of fraud. And then identity theft. This is very, very common at this point of time, wherein uh, your identity is being stolen and then taken advantage to steal money or probably other things. Unintentional acquisition, use, misuse, transfer, possession, alteration, and identifying of vision belonging to another, whether national or jurisdiction without right. And this is very, very common right now in terms of Facebook, wherein a lot of people have been connected with Facebook. What is worse is that people who are most of the people that are using Facebook are not aware of these things. They just provide all the data without taking care of those data. And later on, to the regret, the financial implication is or the consequences is greatly damaging. That is why most of those people who are targeting these people who are not aware of us. That's why I believe this is also one of the um, this is one also of the job of the DICT in pioneering in the spread of information, in taking care of those datas. Because if I believe if these people are aware in protecting their uh, private datas, I think we will have no cause for this one. Then cyber sex, which is very very rampant at this point of time, willful engagement, maintenance, control, or any lascivious exhibition of sexual organs inside a computer system. No? Uh, what happens is that many children are taking advantage of this one with the with the with the bait of providing them money or whatever it may be. So cyber sex, child pornography is very very common, and we do have even the Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009. And mind you, these laws have not been implemented to the level that a lot of people have been held accountable. So this is a very sad reality in terms of cyber sex and child pornography. And then we have the libel case, which is very, very common in Facebook or other social media accounts. Unlawful or prohibited acts of libel as defined in Article 35 the Penal Code as amended committed through a computer system. So I believe number one case against in terms of cybersecurity cases in the National Bureau of Investigation is the libel cases. But a lot of these cases have not been solved at this point of time because existing laws are not very clear or not in harmony also with our cybersecurity laws. Then we talk about cybercrime, as what we have discussed a while ago. We talk about data privacy violation because uh, data cybercrime is very very much related to your data policy violation because this is one of the most common things that is being stolen for us is our data privacy. So privacy violation is defined as an illegal or unwanted act which endangers our privacy right of a person and security of personal data. Data privacy violation is penalized according to Republic Republic Act 10173. The complaint can be used to the National Privacy Commission's complaint assisted form. So as you could see, there are a lot of sections. There are a lot of sections uh, that are given to us, but are not taking advantage. Number one, unauthorized processing, negligence in access, improper disposal, unauthorized purpose, unauthorized access or intentional breach, concealment of breach, malicious disclosure, unauthorized disclosure, combination of acts. So a lot of this, a lot of these things are very clear that are being discussed that we should be aware all of these things. Just like example, we are working in the same organization and then one of your friend will tell you, can I use your laptop in the office? And then you will allow him to use that laptop. What happens if that he will take some of your files and send it to other people? So that's already a violation of data privacy. Number one, he sent the files without your authorization. Secondly, he was able to take out data which are very very confidential. Okay, so many things, but sometimes just we are not aware of those things and we are just too, what we call this, we are just too lay back and allowing those things. That's why we should be aware. of all the things that we do, especially inside the computer system. Then, some data privacy violations. Number one, on authorized processing. So take note, this is 3 to 6 years imprisonment, 500,000 to 4 million penalty. It is when a person information is processed without the consent of the data subject or being authorized using lawful criteria. So if we do have proper documentation, we do have proper process that you have taken into account to, we can hold those persons liable. Number two, negligence in access. Imagine negligence in access, 1 to 6 years imprisonment, 500,000 to 4 million penalty. It is when a person information is made accessible due to negligence and authorized by being an existing law. So if you will try to look at these things, these are just simple data privacy violations. But if it is documented properly in terms of cybersecurity laws and processes, then we can hold those persons liable for whatever things they may have done. Number third, improper disposal. Improper disposal, it is when a personal information is negligently disposed, discarded, or abandoned or accessible to public or otherwise placed in a personal information of an individual in terms of a container or trash. Sometimes when we do, even though when we delete files, we put them in a recycle bin, and by not cleaning the recycle bin, some other persons may try to restore it. That's why we should always be careful of our devices. We should try to be careful of our files, because this is where a lot of concerns happen when we try to lose our phones, lose our laptops. When those confidential data are there, we should make sure that if we want to dispose them, we dispose it properly. And those confidential data, as much as possible, shall not be placed in those devices which have the possibility of getting lost. So if you try to look at those files, if it is very important, then leave those files inside your organizations, or leave those files inside your homes, or in your computers or devices at home, because we might have problem for that. And then last one is the unauthorized purpose. When the personal information is processed for purpose not authorized by the data subject or otherwise authorized by an existing law. So take note, unauthorized purpose, you will use those files of the organization, 1 to 7 years imprisonment, and then 2 million penalty, just for that simple uh, data privacy violation. Then we have authorized access or unintentional breach. Intentional breach, you try to access without given the permission. It is when an individual handling personal information knowingly or unlawfully or violating data confidentiality and security data systems break into a way or in a system of sensitive personal information. So by just trying to access those datas without the permission of another people, you can be imprisoned for 1 to 3 years. And then you may have a penalty of 500K to 1 million just for that. Then we have the concealed breach. It is when an individual or entity who has knowledge of security breach or obligation, and the obligation to notify the commission pursuant Section F of the Act, intentionally or by omission conceals the fact such security breach. So by not reporting the breach inside your organization,